First of all, good afternoon. Um, we know that will linebacker Spencer Jones has been hobbled throughout the summer, and as per the depth chart that came out the other day, Brian Burton is his backup. Can you kind of provide a Reader's Digest version of Brian as a ball player?
Brian's got some natural skills that we're looking for in that position. At the will linebacker, we want some speed that can help us, to the field. I mean, line up into the boundary, but there's a lot of times where we'll run him over the top of one of the linebackers and try to help us back over to the field. And that's something that Brian absolutely possesses is great speed. He's got quickness. I think he processes things in the box really well, and can help us from a cover standpoint. Spencer is a tremendous linebacker, but has been out for quite a while as far as some injuries go. So we'll wait and see how things progress in the next 24 hours and make a decision as far as who's getting reps first and most during the ball game after just seeing how those guys work.
Okay, and is there any particular segment of the Georgia State's offense that concerns you based on what you have seen from their 2020 output?
Yeah, they score a lot of points. I think. They got shut out. They got shut out one game against Coastal, and if you took that game out, you can't take those games out. But if you did, then they're up around the just under 37 points a game. And 37 points a game is a lot. So generally that comes back to good coaching and good players. So do they have some things that we need to be concerned about? Absolutely, no doubt. They got everyone on the back, and I really like what they got going as far as an offense. They got the quarterback, they got a trigger guy, and they got good backups at quarterback as well. The tailback is a guy that I think is on some watch list that for some honors later on down the road, and some big guys up front on the offensive line. I think the one of the biggest things that you always look at is whenever you get that big receiver that can go up and get the 50-50 ball, and I think Sam Pickney does a great job of that. They're not scared to throw it to him. If he's got one on him or two on him, they'll still throw it up there and let him go get it. And then they got some speed at some of the other receiver positions as well. So good scheme. I think the offensive coordinator does a great job of calling the game and putting you in stressful situations, and just got to do a great job of executing our assignments and get off some blocks and play fast.
Great, thanks, Coach. Appreciate it.
Sure. Nate, what does the experience of 2 years ago teach you about Georgia State, and do you expect a similar approach?
2 years ago, I don't know. There's a lot of things that we do a little bit different than what we did 2 years ago. So some of the things that we'll see from a play selection will be a little bit different, and again, the quarterback that Georgia State's got right now gives them the ability to extend plays. And as a guy that if you go with a four-man rush, then he finds that little open window just to bounce around a little bit and still be able to get the ball off, down the field. He's a guy that could run for a lot more yards than he has, but he's always keeping his eyes downfield to throw the football, and those are the ones that are most dangerous. So quarterback situation is outstanding for him. And the other thing I want to bring up is the tight end situation is just gotten better and better there. I think they've got starting tight end is a guy that is athletic. He's got good size and can catch the football and get down the field. And they've got and he can block too. But they can put two tight ends in the ball game at the same time and balance up their offense and throw to either one of those guys, or block with either one of those guys and attack you to where you have to balance up as a defense. And I think that's that's a good thing nowadays. I think the Patriots did it. We're probably out in front of everybody, playing with 2 tight ends, before everybody else in the NFL, and made it a really good.
And that puts a lot more pressure on your linebackers, I imagine.
Linebackers and safeties. I think the matchups with the safeties are a little bit difficult, but as far as the linebackers are concerned, it's a little bit harder to see which way the run is going.
And then lastly, just give me your big picture look at the Army defense this year.
We're a little bit different than a year ago. I think some of the depth that we had last year really served us well. We're still trying to develop that depth, and we're doing things a little bit more out of packages this year, so that guys can have a role and when that role, they're able to fulfill that role and give us some help, but they may not be able to do as many of the things for us defensively as what some of those guys that they graduated last year did. And so as we continue to work forward, I absolutely believe that will be a defense that gets better and better and better as the season goes on. Because I think it's a group that works hard. I think the guys that'll study their assignments hard, but just still trying to work and get to where that depth is built up just a little bit more. So rotating. I've always liked to rotate a 3 deep at defensive line, and that third group may not have gotten as many reps as the first 2 groups, of course, but we may be just a bit more judicious in how we put guys into the ball game early on in the season. But again, as the season kicks on, I absolutely anticipate us doing a good job of getting a lot of guys into the ball game, because it's a long season, and the more help that we can get, the better.
Thank you, Nate.
Hey, Coach, how much does having an experienced secondary help when you're facing such a dynamic passing attack like Georgia State?
Any experience at any level is what you crave as a football coach. I think having some guys that understand what we're trying to do on the back end is helps with communication process, and what in this first ball game, what Georgia State will do is try to limit the communication process by going with an up tempo, quick tempo on first and second down, and try to catch you to where you don't have all the eligibles accounted for. You can't quite get lined up quickly enough to handle different formations, try to keep you vanilla, all that stuff. So experience lends itself towards being a little bit more sound in the back end. And I think that's where we're at right now. We're sound.
Coach, Coach Saban was interviewed about that point, about how the offenses are going no huddle, and they're trying to get their plays off faster to limit the changes and the calls the defense can make. Is that a challenge for you in, as you said, up tempo Georgia State might play?
Yeah, I think it's an incredible challenge for defenses nowadays. I think being able to get lined up and communicate as a defense is limited a lot more nowadays than what you had in years past. And sometimes that keeps you from being as exotic, with some of your alignments and blitzes because of that tempo. You go back and look at Alabama against Ole Miss. Alabama had a heck of a defense, and yet still Ole Miss was putting up an awful lot of points last year. I think that was sort of an eye opener to a lot of coaches and teams around the country. You can have some great defensive players, but a little bit harder to get them to where they can use all their talents because of the tempo of the offense, and just getting lined up and being able to cover down on all the eligibles. It's a little bit more difficult nowadays than maybe years past.
All right, last one for Coach.
Just to ask you, Coach, we talked to Malcolm Morrison the other day, and he's described the Apache position, which is sort of hybrid linebacker safety. Maybe tell us a little bit about his role. It's sort of like one of the key roles, but he also brings all the experience of being a senior.
I think Malcolm is he's a heck of a ball player for us. Fast, quick, just a really good cover guy and blitzer, and gets off blocks well. Just dynamic out there. Just we're really excited that we got a shot at playing another season with him. But you're right, that hybrid position out there is incredibly important in today's game. With how much offenses spread you out, you got to be able to match up with all sorts of receivers, whether it's quick slots or the big possession type receivers, or multiple tight ends out there. And Malcolm has given us a great matchup out there to the field, and in situations where a lot of times in years past, you had to substitute to get that guy onto the field and play with a fifth defensive back, or you just had to play very vanilla. So I think Malcolm gives us a chance to be a little bit more versatile out there on the perimeter.
Thanks, Coach.
All right.
All right.